This zoo was made entirely by a 10-year-old, and what they made is a marvel. Pure chaos combined with actual genuine talent and insight into Planet Zoo, and zoo building that can stand amongst the first creations of anyone playing this game for the first time. Join me as we tour the wild world of this 10-year-old's creations. Lovingly crafted rock walls, bizarre mountain ranges, terrifying, raging electrical fires, escaped animals picking clean the bones of diseased ones, and most of all, the spirit and mind of someone who knew how to play this game instinctively, despite the occasional stumbling block here and there. Join me. Yes, guys, you saw the intro, so let's go. Yes, without further ado, this zoo was created by a 10-year-old on my PC because they were visiting with their parents, and they actually had no prior experience in Planet Zoo. All I did was guide them as to where the buttons were and what to do. They built all of this themselves, and some of it is absolutely brilliant. Some of it is just completely crazy, and I have to say it starts out pretty nice. They designed an opening square with some blueprints and placed these little barriers and these little trees, and immediately I have to say gave the impression that they knew what they were doing, that they sort of knew how they were going to design the zoo. And we're going to check out this section to the right, which features some of the more low-key designs, and then we're going to check out the craziness that follows. But yeah, let's just experience it together. They were huge fans of the concept of placing rock walls at the back of habitats and then water and glass at the front. So we get this hyena habitat, which is just really decent, right? You get the hyenas, you get some big trees, you get their shelter over there, and you get this little climbing rock structure that they actually made themselves. They decided to place some of these broken trees in here, plenty of this zebra enrichment, and they seem like they're having a decent time. I kind of wonder if this fence was their original idea or not, or if they actually were more preferring it to be a null barrier. I'm not sure if hyenas can swim, in fact. Can you swim? Why don't you? Yeah, you can swim. Let's put the barrier back. But yeah, that is their hyena habitat. It's not too bad. It's for if you've seen the first builds people make on Planet Zoo, plenty of people do worse than this, honestly. They just make a rectangle and throw some enrichment in there. I think this is a very good first habitat. It wasn't the first they built, but I'm deliberately showing it to you like this. They had staff paths as well, put all the correct stuff in there, added beautiful flowers around it. I think they were really onto something here in this section. Of course, at the end, guys, I'll zoom out and show you some of the hidden secrets over here. Next to this huge rock wall, we have a little tortoise habitat. Again, just a very, very, very accomplished tortoise habitat. Exactly the kind of stuff you expect people to build for a tortoise. You have the cute little bush. You have the... Why have I never looked at the texture from up close? You have the cute little flowers. You have the grass, the faux trees and everything. Even made a bit of a more complex structure out of the faux trees there. Then you have the plants at the back, and even just for a touch that really betrays their actual insight into zoo building is that they hide the keeper entrance behind this little bush. And that's just a nice little touch, genuinely, for I think there were 10 or perhaps even 9 at this point. I feel like they honestly really understood some of the basics that some people who are 18 and up struggle with when starting out with Planet Zoo. So kudos to them. To the right is we're going to have to make a choice here right quick. You're going to see some high concept builds pretty soon. Let's look to the left first. This is a habitat that really, really made me laugh. They were over at my house several times, and each time they wanted to play the game, the Planet Zoo game, and they built this habitat rather early into that process, and they very quickly got distracted. They have sort of that ADHD vibe around them, so do I, of course. But they very often got distracted and started building other habitats, and they never really were sure what they wanted to put in here. So I was kind of, entertained by the fact that their mind was always wandering, and I'm still not sure what the plan was for this actually very nice looking habitat. These baobab trees are absolutely a vibe. They placed the blueprint in here very well. They created their own little climbing moment here. This is what they made themselves with this sleeping stuff on top of it. I mean, this could be like a mandrill habitat, a lemur habitat, who knows? I'll have to ask them perhaps what their intentions were. But this is honestly a very accomplished habitat, even with the broken down fence, which adds to the the chaos of this place. Put in the comments what you think would fit in this habitat. We're going to go here first, in fact, into this little Arctic section. This becomes a staff area. Very fitting staff area with the raging fire over there. A little wonderful fountain section here. Some Arctic builds and then some random mosaics. I don't quite know what the intention here was. We get some interesting geometric patterns here with the flowers. A little vent leading to who knows what, some sort of underground facility. Huge rocks all around us. Someone is going to have to control that fire, honestly. But I think these are here to keep the snow. Yeah, that was it. I've almost forgotten. And this habitat that we're looking at is actually a very, very high concept build. We have this sort of castle, and we are going to climb these icy steps and get a look down below at the king penguin habitat. And one could argue this is a very depressing, like 18th century build, or 19th century rather. But the idea of creating this sort of castle walls and then putting the penguins inside of it and offering you a view like this, honestly, kind of genius, low-key kind of genius. Right? I think I'm going to show you why I think it's that great. We'll talk about those things later. But you have this little section. They couldn't fit the path in there the whole time, but they did build an underwater viewing section for the penguins. And I'm going to repeat to you, all of this was with very little prompting by me. All of this was just their personal ideas to zoocraft, so to speak, and I'm genuinely happy with this. Like if you spruced this up a little bit, if you added some interesting decorations and rock work and everything, this would not be a bad penguin habitat. Absolutely not. So let's actually head down there. This is also a Cuvier's dwarf caiman habitat over here, and once again, not bad, right? It's big. It doesn't offer you a land view, but for what it is just a very pleasant caiman habitat. You get this underwater box, and you get this very nice clear water, and then plenty of plants down there, and those little tree roots. And just a very atmospheric, cute little build. I would not hate seeing this, a bit more cleaned up. I wouldn't hate seeing something like this in an actual zoo build by a big creator. So yeah, I have to once again give it up to this child. I don't know if they're going to be watching. They've grown a bit by now, of course, but. There's something special coming up. At this point, they were starting to experiment with shapes in the ground. Some of these actually go quite deep, and just experimenting with placing water in them. I don't always know exactly what their intentions were. There were a lot of frustrations with the pathing system. I mean, even adult. It's a vibe. I Didn't know they could escape, but yes, they can. The penguins can get out of their habitats. This zoo is absolute chaos. Watch out for the glass. Oh my god, you're gonna scratch your little belly. But yeah, the penguins can escape, and they will, of course. Look at them. Nothing is holding them back. The world is their oyster. And some penguins just want to see the world burn, right? Is there no one who's gonna catch these guys? I mean, there's actual zookeepers and everything just walking around here, but I think they're pretty chill with I think management is kind of lax when it comes to things like this, so I think the penguins actually are allowed to roam where they please. I did empty the zoo of guests. That's the only thing I did when loading this zoo, is getting the guests out, because it was very crowded and not fun to tour. I didn't touch anything else. I hope you can tell I wanted to keep this thing preserved. And then we come to this very Alice in Wonderland-esque environment. You get these huge walls, topiary walls, very, very ominous in a way, and the path just leads on and on. Who knows what's around the corner? I don't even remember myself. Actually, it's still quite a long ways away. We get this wonderful, huge, broken barrier, and this huge plaza. Who knows what they were going to do? I'm kind of sad. In a way, I'm kind of sad that I never got to see the full vision come to fruition, right? I honestly would encourage them, if they wanted to get the game one day, or even the sequel, and just genuinely try and play the game, because I genuinely think they were cooking, right? They were actually doing some great stuff. I don't know what this was going to be, but it probably was absolute madness. But if we gaze through this, I think there's some helpful broken shards here that we can look through. This looks to be a fox habitat, right? So I think I understand the more like European vibe, I guess, sort of. But if we look through these broken shards, we'll get the opportunity. I think this is the enrichment for the goats, actually, the rock wall, the rock thing, but I think they enjoyed it. They were also a huge fan of building caves out of rocks. I mean, who wasn't, of course? And also placing down these bloody saucer things. But yeah, and huge walls, of course. Just like me, they weren't bad at creating scale, but did I say they weren't bad? They weren't good at judging the scale of a fox habitat. I think there's just the one in here. The rest of them might have perished, sadly. Who knows what fate has befallen the rest of the foxes. So let's leave this for this strange and bizarre place and actually go look at another part of the zoo that starts out with some very, very decent accomplished habitats, and then you'll see a slow acceleration into madness. And I think you can already see some of that towering these towering achievements of madness coming right up. And also kind of a bittersweet moment where, once again, the wonderful builder of this zoo didn't fully get to realize their vision and didn't get to practice their craft to the fullest. I think you'll see what I mean. The first habitat that they built, in fact, is right over here. This is the fennec fox habitat, because, of course, what does attract a young person? It is a cute little desert fox like this one. And even with the strange stacking of rocks here, which was, I remember, accompanied by a lot of angry cursing, because the rocks were just stacking and not doing what they wanted them to. But look at this, guys. This was literally the first habitat they made, and you know, besides some minor help from me in flipping these rocks over, this is just a good fennec fox habitat. What do you think about who made it? Right? This just works. And there's really not many pointers I get to give about this. Besides just, like, you know, adding more grass, I guess. But this is a good fennec fox habitat for sure. And it is far from the hilarity that we've seen back there. and it is far from some of the crazy stuff that's coming. It's just a good fennec fox habitat. There you go. They even placed the education sign, struggled some more with the rocks, and coming right up is a cheetah habitat that actually was so nice that I even used it as inspiration for a cheetah habitat of mine. I'm not even kidding. Just this concept of this long stretch island with some trees and some scratching posts at the end. Once again, this is a good cheetah habitat. The glass barrier is a bit of a choice, but again, I wasn't going to mess with their personal vision, and they do get that cheetah offspring in there. They were very happy with that. They did place these lights inside of the shelter, and they put a lot of effort in making this shelter. You get the actual wooden walls, the rock around it, then the rock walls in the back, and some concrete colored brown. All of these things on their own accord, adding these lily pads to the water. Just an actual brain for this game, if you know what I mean. Even with this craziness that we're going to check out later. I mean, this is not bad, but I love it. But this is just someone who has a brain for the game, if you know what I mean. This person understands how to build a cheetah habitat. Absolutely. No pointers here, once again. So what's coming up next? We have a very, very crazy section. What are we going to do, guys? I think I'm going to go left first. Let's do that. Let's go left first. This habitat, I believe, was never finished, right? Or rather, yeah, it was never finished, but I do think it had some animals in here. I think the clouded leopard was in here, but it obviously has escaped. If it was in here, I think it was a clouded leopard that lived in here, or perhaps the lynx or something. But apparently, yeah, they got to escape. So, phew, what is that all about? Let's see if we can find some of those clouded leopards, because the path continues. We get a stack of Australias over here. In case you need one, you can get yourself a stack of Australias. Here's another one lying around. So no clouded leopard in sight. The path does stop here abruptly. Aha! Are you dead or just sleeping? You are dead. So they escaped, but only a couple of hundred meters from the wild tropical wilderness. They called it a day and just died right then and there. Then we get this interesting little geographical feature, which we can have fun with. Perhaps a children's playground was under construction. Look at this wonderful chaos. Again, this is all just thumbnail bait, honestly. Not that I'm not trying to denigrate their achievements. I'm genuinely really happy with this. This is all backstage stuff. We can look at this later. So rest in peace to this poor little clouded leopard. But let us continue the intended. I think this path was actually probably meant to be a staff path. So now that we're here, I guess I cannot postpone checking out this habitat, this massive undertaking. As you can tell, huge walls, huge trees, a crazy cave, which took some struggles to get underway. You get this massive path high up in the sky, and then these crazy rockwork. And this is the habitat for, I think you're not going to guess what lives in here. A sole Chinese pangolin lives in here. And where is it? It's over there. It's not happy. Why are you not happy? Look at the extreme amount of space you have. But yes, this huge habitat was designed for one of the smallest animals in the entire game. And watching them build this just filled me with joy, and I hope they didn't feel offended when I was just grinning ear to ear when they were making this large of a habitat for that small of a creature. But they got the vibe down, right? Tropical. We got the plants. We get the gnarly dead trees. We get the path and everything. There was an attempt to create a little shelter cave sort of thing. The big cool tree over there. And the wonderful pangolin. It doesn't look that unhappy. You look happy. So yeah, that is the famed pangolin habitat over here. The path then continues. Lord knows if this was all going to be filled up, but I think there's just an empty... Oh, there's actually bats in here. Right, so there is a bat habitat. You've seen that. There's not a lot to be said about this, so let us continue. We'll just follow the path. We'll follow the intended route through this zoo, I guess. We'll talk about that later. We are going to go here first. So yeah, the intended route does take us on a bit of a detour around the pangolin habitat, back to the front here of the ill-fated clouded leopard section. But there's more to come, guys. Don't worry. If you take a right here at the cheetah habitat, you get this crazy little environment. Look at the panic. Yes, I assure you, there's animals in need of your aid. But we'll look at that and that later, I guess. But we are getting to the cold section with another one of their trademark stacked Tetris rocks. To the left, we get the Arctic fox. And there's a whole bunch of them in here, together with some of their poop. But there's a whole bunch of Arctic fox. They had the fennec fox, so the Arctic fox couldn't miss. And they automatically defaulted to using the correct foliage for these guys. Placing the snow. All of this was just, once again, their own idea. And one thing that I appreciated is that they placed like these these bushes referring to the animal that lived in here. In fact, there's actually a funny section like that coming up that really made me laugh when they built it. But yep, Arctic fox lives in here. On the other end, guys, is a bit of a depressing one. This is the snow leopard habitat, but it does have that sort of post-apocalyptic Jurassic Park vibe with the broken barriers and everything. And sadly, it also features the corpse of a lynx, which also is in here. I think the lynx died and then was replaced by the snow leopard. And I remember there was another corpse back there and also one drowned in here. It's a bit of a depressing habitat. Aside from the instant depression hitting us, again, an accomplished snow leopard habitat. They used the blueprint well. Oh no. What are you about to do? Are you just headed straight for me? I honestly feel so attacked right now. Get away from me. Let's get up on these rocks and try and keep ourselves safe. So yeah, they used the blueprint well. They placed the appropriate trees. They created a thematic backdrop. Placed all of the right enrichment in there. And unfortunately, oopsie. I love it. Another barrier bites the dust, but unfortunately they're actually, and there's the bones of the other one. Unfortunately, death is also a part of this zoo. If I were you, I would get back up that side. Yeah, there you go. There is no escape from this place for you, unfortunately. You will have to live in this bizarre little world. Moving on from the fox and the snow leopard. Look at how many there are. I love it. If you're somewhat into dogs, then I guess this is heaven for you building for something like this. And then this little section I love. I have seen mechanics around here, right? I think you guys have seen them as well, but they're just not doing anything. Like there's one. I guess they're just really overworked and have a lot to do in this zoo. So this is one place that really made me laugh, something they built. All of these foxes surrounding a bunch of bunnies. Such a funny sort of like kind of dark little moment here. Great sense of humor, you have to agree. And well, what do we do next? Look at the panic. I wonder what this is. This is just a hole. Oh my lord. Yes, guys, the best is yet to come, but they were, of course, exploring more and more. The further they came into the zoo, they were exploring, terraforming and struggling with the pathing, as, you know, haven't we all? And they started experimenting with these massive destructions of the earth, pretty much. This is sort of like Denis Villeneuve Dune environment, right? This is an abstract extraterrestrial vibe. Honestly, Planet Zoo can render you know, different planets, so to speak. And now let's actually go and check out how deep this actually goes. Whoopsie, because it looks like there's actually more to see in here. Oh, it's actually relatively hollow. So this huge gash in the ground here, and some random glass barriers just to withstand, you know, if an elephant herd was coming at the zoo from this angle, they would be somewhat slowed down. So I appreciate. Look at all the mentions here. But this huge gash in the terrain, perhaps some comet struck here, or some ancient god was slain, or some ancient demon dragged its claw through the landscape. Regardless, a fantastical little moment here in this zoo. But one of my favorite moments is yet to come. Let's actually go to one of the most dangerous habitats known to mankind. Not just because it has a very dangerous hyper carnivorous animal living in it, but because there is a extremely tall walk path overhead, but it also has no railings. This was a bold design choice by them, which I watched them build with great glee and enjoyment. But this is the huge polar bear habitat, which is, you know, strengthened that fact by the polar bear statues inside the polar bear habitat. But this habitat does hide some almost Lovecraft-esque secrets. As you can tell, terraforming was very much in vogue in their mind at this time. This was, I think, one of the last or second to last times they were at the house playing Planet Zoo. All of the last times they weren't really interested, I guess, or it just wasn't appropriate to play the game. I kind of wish I could ask them to continue, but, you know, they're into different things now. But yeah, as I was saying, terraforming was a hype, so we get this sort of volcano-like caldera with water in it, and then this lake down below. We get the pretty nice shelter with a glass roof, so you can look inside of it. We get two polar bears with a generally, like, just very appropriate scale. This is like a Yelbu scale polar bear habitat, right? But this habitat actually at one point had me in tears with laughter, and I'm going to show you why. It is because of this. I'm going to empty out this lake, and I remember at this point I was they were playing the game, and I was like, you know how to do it. And I think I was just talking with their parents at the TV room, and they were doing this. They were digging a hole, and this hole, can I actually put some lighting in here? Can we grab like a light to come with us? Yeah, that actually works. That's a fun little trick. This hole, guys, goes on quite deep into the earth. I think It must be like, oh my god, look at the... And then they were completely lost. Their camera was stuck in here. They didn't know how to get out. They called me in panic and they said, help, I am stuck in the earth. So the polar bear habitat hides this extremely deep, like, hole in the earth, almost like a way to reach the elder gods. And I was just in tears with laughter at the extreme depths to which they had built this, you know, sort of innocuous looking polar bear pool. And I hope they took it in stride. I think they did. So just in case they were watching, this is one of my favorite moments I've ever had in Planet Zoo, is discovering just how deep they had built. I think this was actually fine in terms of depth, but one can never be too sure. No, it looks like we have reached the bottom already. So this one is not nearly as intense as the other one. And the polar bears genuinely look very happy. And if I was the polar bears, I would also prefer swimming in this, because this has some severe, I think the word is like thalassophobia, a fear of deep depths. I think this will trigger you, so pardon me. And I think we have reached the end of the walking tour, because I don't think there is... well, no, I'm wrong. There is something I need to showcase. So let's get to it. I forgot some stuff. Yes, pardon me. So if we don't go to the pangolin habitat, we get to 2 projects, one of which was left unfinished. So I think, you know, we have to address the elephant in the room. This is the last time they came to my house and the last time they played Planet Zoo, and they built a monstrous mountain side. This is one of the largest things I've ever seen in Planet Zoo. And this was all meant to be one habitat. And one has to wonder, if you remember the scale of the pangolin habitat, what critter was going to live in here. We actually get some UFO sightings, but what creature was going to call this huge crater home? Was it going to be, you know, a tortoise? Was it going to be, I don't know, the little blue penguin? Who knows? Or perhaps a smaller animal, a bigger one, I mean. But look at the scale of this. I am genuinely distraught that I never saw what they were planning with this. I sometimes get playful accusations from my partner that I don't really do scale well and that I built too big, but feast your eyes on this. I'm really sad that nothing lives in here, that they never got to finish their vision. I'll have to ask them perhaps one day, like, what would you put in here now? But I don't think we'll ever get that unadulterated, like, 10-year-old answer out of them ever again. But they did see the blueprint for the Pride Rock for the lions, and of course you then have to make a lion habitat with Pride Rock in here. This is a blueprint, one of the many, of Pride Rock. And if we look through the broken barrier, there is at least one lioness living in here, unless she has died while we did the walking tour. But they get a whole bunch of enrichment, including one for the seals and sea lions, looks like. But where is the lioness? Has she perished? We get a secondary viewing opportunity, but once again they had all the enrichment placed. They placed African plants in here, including like a bunch of climbing stuff. But I feel like I remember a lioness living in here. Perhaps they have escaped. Let's see if we can find them. This habitat is empty. I swear to you, when I loaded this zoo, this habitat wasn't empty. So perhaps... oh man. Oh no, a pangolin has died of starvation. So many deaths. What deep sadness. this doesn't really give you the best picture of this zoo, right? But I think you guys can agree with me that if you look at the whole vibe of this place, this is genuinely a mind of a very good potential Planet Zoo player at work. This one is just a blueprint they put down, and together with me they went like, what the hell is this? I don't remember who built this. I have a vibe about this that it was Caesar Crates, but I don't quite remember. Maybe not, but this is like, I believe a... What is this? A gorilla habitat? I think so. But yeah, this is what, like, I can't even build like this, so let alone you can expect this from a 10-year-old. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this little look, a bit of a different tour here, but I've had a lot of fun seeing the creation of this, and touring it again filled me with many memories. So I'm not going to touch anything, including the poor animal corpses. But next week, guys, we will see a tour of Bolo Bolo itself, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon. Yelbu out.